Welcome, everybody. Hello, everyone in Fearless. Welcome to another Tactical Tuesday.
A beautiful Tactical Tuesday. Hopefully it's as beautiful where you are. It's super hot. Yeah. We're not used to this.
Our backs are burning a little bit.
But. Yeah, but it's not too bad, actually. So, wow, we had an awesome weekend. All of you that joined us in boot camp, thank you for joining us. It was a lot of fun. And just watching everyone push and grow and, do stuff that they didn't expect to do. And even just kind of get brave and then have these aha moments, pretty darn cool. So, hey Adele and Tori, nice to see you guys. Chris, Marie.
Yeah, we're glowing red from the sunburn, Adele. That's what we're glowing.
Yeah, mine is probably bronzer, but. James, hey, welcome guys. So we've got, thanks Marie. Thanks for showing up for boot camp. Your calm presence is always so nice. So,
Melanie at the beach again. Really nice. Just rub it in, Mel. Rub it in. Yeah.
You know what? Good for you. You've worked hard for so long for this. Good for you. Don't feel guilty about it. Hey, Jane. Welcome, Tanis. So we had so many people join us in our Ignited program. We always offer a discount with boot camp. So welcome, guys. I'm just going to read off some of the names. So Kevin and Nadine Russell. Yay, very exciting. Dwight, sweet. I know you're a great fit too. Megumi, Natasha, Tanis, Deb or DJ. I think you go by DJ. Jane, Japita, Joanne, Rachel and her Mel, Braun. What is it? No, I had it.
Okay, hold
Braun
on.
Power Mel. So Braun Power Mel.
Yeah, Braun Power Mel. Because we already have a Mind Power Mel. So
yeah. Oh, awesome, George. You're on your
Joanne,
phones.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys, George and Joanne. Well, guys, we've got a bit of a different show a little bit maybe for you today. Yeah,
we're actually going to share a few things that tie in with what we talked about at our boot camp. So for those of you that missed our boot camp, weren't there over this past weekend, that's okay. We're going to tie in some of the concepts we talked about, and we're going to kind of expand on that today a little bit. And so, we're going to discuss really, you could call it a sales tactic, but for those of you that know us, you know that we talk all the time about not being a salesperson, not pitching, not giving a spiel, not doing any of that sort of stuff, but more creating a relationship with those that you want to deal with, asking them questions, find out what their why is, all of that sort of stuff. But we're going to share it from a different perspective today. If any of you saw the post that we put in about our Tactical Tuesday tonight, it's kind of based off of the Wolf of Wall Street and really some of his sales tactics and some of the ways that you can look at selling to people, but really it's not selling. It doesn't come across as being a salesperson, and it kind of reflects a lot of the concepts that we've been talking about throughout our boot camp and that we've been talking about for the last several years. So we're going to share a video that kind of goes to explain exactly what we're talking about, and then we're going to dissect that video a little bit, and we're looking for feedback from you guys and ideas as to how we can relate these concepts towards real estate and how we can relate these concepts towards raising capital, raising JV money, raising private lending money, whatever it might be that we're looking for. The same ideas and concepts work regardless of the industry that we're in. And of course, we're in real estate investment, so let's apply it towards that. So
we know that we're all in sales. I think the biggest, the first time that I heard that was in a book about dealing with teenagers. And it said basically, we're all in sales. We are in sales with our teenagers every single day. So we have to, find that kind of balance between convincing them to do what you think that they should be doing and allowing people to make their own decisions. And, sales, whether that's, with teenagers or, at any place that we shop at or wherever we're doing in our lives, we're always in a negotiation between spouses, doesn't matter. So
yeah, you're always negotiating with me, aren't you?
No, I lose.
No, I'm negotiating with you.
Yeah, I lose.
Honey, can I go golfing again? Is that okay?
Well, okay. For the 18th time this week.
Yeah.
Anyways, air our dirty laundry. Nice job. But you know, like we all have this situation where we have to learn that balance. And when we're talking to joint venture partners, when we're talking to private lenders, when we're talking to, you know, people that want to use their RSPs, you know, a whole lot better than they've been using them, we have, you know, that balance that we have to find. But the thing is, we often approach it wrong in investment. And here's why. If we're going to sell you know, rubber ducky to someone, we don't think that we have to go in all logical because it's just fun, right? It's just, it's something that's simple. And so we go in really simple and we have no problem selling a rubber ducky. However, and I say that because I'm looking at our dog toy right there. However, when we talk about real estate investment, all of a sudden, for one, there's more emotion involved. All of a sudden the ante is upped for sure. Secondly, though, it's all of a sudden we think, well, we have to talk logically because here they, you know, they need to know about, you know, graphs, charts, you know, backup information. We have to give them every single number that they would ever imagine or think of. And that's where we go with a lot of our sales in real estate because real estate's a numbers-based business. But guess what? We're here to tell you it's a people-based business. It is very people-based, both in the relationships that you make, you know, in circles like what we have here in Fearless, or, you know, relationships that you have with sellers, tenants, joint venture partners, all of it, your private lenders. So it's all about relationships. So when we talk to people about joint venturing with us, we talked in our boot camp this weekend about not asking for money, but offering opportunities. First, adding value and showing them what you're about and that you're there to help them, and then offering them the opportunity to work with you. And it's the same thing, this little video that we're going to show you. If you don't know where your joint venture partners sit in their world, in their minds, in their life, if you don't know where they're sitting, you can't work with them and not convince them or invite them into your world if you don't know where they're sitting. So,
okay, you're giving away all the good stuff.
no, I'm not.
Okay, guys, we're gonna share a little video. So let's get to that, and then we're gonna dissect it and kind of go back and listen to it a second time, and kind of dissect what we can pull away from this, what we can learn from this. And really, these are the same concepts that we've been saying over and over again, but it's kind of put into a simplified manner. And it comes down to if you were to sell a pen, how would you go about doing that? Okay, what do you start talking about? How do you sell that? So let's get into it. Let's watch this video. It's only 2 minutes long, and then try to, as we're watching it, try to figure out, how can I relay this to real estate? How could I use these same principles when it comes to finding a joint venture partner or raising capital in real estate? Okay, so let's think about that as we watch this video, guys. And here we go. Let me pull it up.
Hello, Mr. Belford. Thank you so much for being here. I have one question. I'm a huge fan of your film, so this just comes quite naturally. Can you please sell me this pen?
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. We're going to run it all the way through.
Okay.
I just wanted to, before we get to how he goes to sell this pen, I just wanted to clarify. So this guy that is speaking, in case you've never seen him before or heard of him, he's somebody that's raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, in the whole scheme of things, he ended up defrauding hundreds of millions of dollars from a lot of people in the way that he did it. But he went to jail. He served his time for that. And then he came out and he's kind of he does seminars. He speaks around the world, kind of telling people how to sell, how he convinces people, how he negotiates, that sort of stuff.
He still swears a lot though. So be careful when you're watching his stuff.
But the whole point of this is these are tactics that work, not because we want to defraud people. Absolutely nothing like that. But this is how we can get to figure out what people are looking for, what they want. Okay, so just thought I'd set that up a little bit. Here we go. Let's watch this.
it's the first time. So let me tell you what that whole exercise really stands for, right? So the whole sell me this pen narrative is really, it's a test that you give to a salesman to see if they really understand what selling's all about. If you ask someone who's not a professional salesman, who doesn't have the right instincts, they'll start actually trying to sell you a pen. This pen is great. This pen writes upside down. It's the best value for its money. This pen will last forever. You buy this pen. Here's the thing. There's only one rational thing you could do when someone says, sell me this pen, and that is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen? What type of pens have you used in the past? Is it business or personal? Typically, when you buy a pen, what type of money do you spend on one? Do you buy expensive pen? The key to selling is to find out, step one, what are your clients' needs, values? What pen are they looking to resolve? What do they need? And you're looking to fill that need at the most basic level, right? Well, when you just go out trying to sell something to someone, what you're saying is, I don't give a shit about you. I'm trying to ram this down your throat, right? I want to know what you need. I want to know what you've done in the past. So you ask questions. If I ask someone, hey, so how long have you been in the market for a pen? They say, oh, I'm not looking for a pen. Great, have a nice day. I don't sell people things that people aren't looking for. I wouldn't try to sell you a pen if you're not looking to buy a pen. So and if someone said it to me, I say, wow, this person really knows how to sell. Because the biggest mistake that rookie salesmen make is they try to sell to everybody, versus weeding out people who are not interested and only selling to those who are. So I ask questions, but not any question. I ask pointed questions to identify what type of pens you used in the past, how much money you have. Now, the pen is like a euphemism for any product, right? By doing that, I can get a good sense of what you're about. And then when I'm done asking my questions, and I know what I need to know, I'll say, well, based on what you said to me, this pen is perfect if you let me tell you why. And now I'm actually matching my pen to what you need, and I tailor my presentation to fill that need, and it's much more elegant. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Everything in life is a negotiation. When you cross the
All right, so hopefully that made sense, guys. Hopefully you caught that video all right. And this is really the point that we're trying to get across is, how do we sell something? How do we convince others to invest with us? How do we raise capital? How do we get somebody to say yes when we're giving them options? And let's go back. Now, we're going to go back throughout this video and just kind of pick out certain things that we can learn as investors from how to convince people to invest with us. Because really, whether it's a pen, and like you said in that video, whether it's a pen or we're selling a house or whether we're selling an investment opportunity or whether we're selling socks, it really doesn't matter. The same principles apply to no matter what it is that we're selling.
So what was the very first question that he asked? What was the first question that he asked when he went to sell the pen? Notice it was a question, not a statement, right? What was the first question? Anybody remember the very first question? We'll give you a little bit because we do have a lag behind us, about 20 seconds or so. So we'll just wait until it catches up here. See if everyone caught what his very first question was.
Do you use pens?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the market for a pen?
There we go. How have you been in the market? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what about us? Is that a good question for us to talk to when we're raising capital from partners, from lenders, from RSP holders? Is that a good question for us? It probably is. Why? Why would that be a good question, guys, for us to know how long they've been looking to place their funds? Again, I'm going to let it catch up.
Or how long they've been wanting to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let it catch up here. It's a little bit, actually, maybe slower than 20 seconds, hey?
Really, guys, here's the point. The point is, remember when he first started selling that pen? Motivation, pain. How long have you wanted me to give me money? That's right, Tori.
I love it.
If you were handed a pen and you said, sell me this pen, what do most people do? Most people will look at that pen and they'll say, wow, this pen is amazing. It's bright and colorful. It writes so smooth. Your fingers are going to feel so good on this pen. It's going to, the ink lasts forever. You're going to start selling the pen, right? But when he was going to sell the pen in this scenario, what did he do? He didn't talk about the pen at all.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about the pen at all. He talked about the people that are buying the pen. And that's kind of the biggest point, or one of the main points that we wanted to bring across here today, is that when it comes to real estate investment, what's one of the first things that people start to do? If they have an opportunity, what do? Here's my property. Check out the ROI. Look at the cash flow. Look how beautiful and shiny it is. Look how long this one's going to last. Look how new this property is.
But guys,
so it's exactly the same thing. Instead of asking the person who might invest what they're looking for.
Okay, so by doing that, by asking how long they've been looking to invest, how long they've been looking to place their funds, whatever it might be, by asking that question, like some of the comments, you guys, they're going to open up to you, and you're going to find out stuff that's going to help you in knowing whether or not, for one, they have a problem that you can fix, but how you can fix that problem. So if they're just brand new and they say, well, actually, I just heard about this whole thing, a week ago, and so I'm just looking into it now. They're probably not ready to jump right away. They're going to need a whole lot more coaching. So can you do that coaching? Can you help them go through that process? Absolutely. No problem there. But let's say that they said, you know what? I've had these funds sitting here for 10 years. I haven't done anything with them. They've just been sitting, and I'm getting to the point where, I just want them to do so. I want my money to work for me. You feel that frustration. You hear that frustration. You get that all the time, you guys. And when they say those things, that's a major, more insight into you saying, okay, well, listen, I've got this deal now. I can move on it. It also lets you know that you have to move quicker with these guys because they need you to move quicker. Their motivation is a lot stronger. So simple questions that we find out so much more about people. That's the only way. Like in boot camp, we talked about it. You have to find their problem. You have to fix it. Well, if you don't know what their problem is, you can't fix it. And you have to ask questions to know what their problem is.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest things we need to look for are what are our clients or our money partners' needs? What are their values? What are they looking for out of a potential investment? What are they? Remember, guys, not what we're looking for. What are they looking for in a potential investment? And when we find out what it is that they're looking for, then what we do is we fill that need. Then we start to tailor our presentation based upon what we know they're looking for. And how much more successful do you think we're going to be when we find out that somebody has been looking to buy into real estate for some time now? They have X amount of dollars, and they haven't been able to find anything because they don't have the time. Maybe they haven't been able to find anything because they're working full time. Maybe they haven't been able to find anything because they don't have the connections. Maybe they don't quite understand how to run the numbers. If we don't ask the questions and find out what their need is, then we have no way of filling it. And we're just trying to sell something to somebody that doesn't want it.
So we had an experience early on, which thank goodness we did, because we'd been out there touting, cash flow opportunities was the name of our company. And funny enough, what we learned through the process of meeting with different partners and different, lenders was that not everybody wanted cash flow. And the first time that happened, it kind of stunned us. And we talked about it in boot camp there that, here we were basing our whole presentation, our whole spiel, our whole, value add that we were bringing to the table based on cash flow. And the first guy, and many since then, didn't even want cash flow.
Yeah.
So here we were wasting our breath.
Yeah.
And so it's an emotional game. It's hard to get out there and do these meetings all the time. So save yourself some breath and focus on what they need. And the only way you can do that is by asking questions.
Here's the thing, guys, is some people are looking for a raise in equity. Some people are looking for a long-term investment. They want the mortgage to be paid down. Some people are looking for cash flow. Some people are looking for an uplift in price because they want somebody to do a renovation. There's so many different aspects in real estate that people are looking for. We have no idea what a potential investor is looking for unless we ask them what they're looking for.
And then not the same as what
we can bring them, we can fill that need for them. But if we don't ask these questions, super, super important, then we're going to be wasting our breath talking to a lot of people.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay. All right. So next thing. All right.
You're hilarious.
Okay, guys, we're going to watch this again. Okay. We're going to pick this out piece by piece and see how we can relate it to real estate. Okay, we've covered some of it already, but there's a lot of gems in this 2-minute video that we're able to take from it. So I'm going to pause it as we come across a gem, and we're going to see how we can relate that to real estate. Okay, so just give me a second here, and let's watch this again.
So much for being here. I have one question, and I'm a huge fan of your film, so this just comes quite naturally. Can you please sell me this pen? No one's ever asked me that before. It's the first time. So let me tell you what that whole exercise really stands for, right? So the whole sell me this pen narrative is really, it's a test that you give to a salesman to see if they really understand what selling's all about. If you ask someone who's not a professional salesman, who doesn't have the right instincts, they'll start actually trying to sell you a pen. This pen is great. This pen writes upside down. It's the best value for its money. This pen will last forever. You buy this pen. Here's the thing.
Okay, guys. When it comes to real estate, how do we do that? How are we saying in real estate, oh, this is the best pen. It writes upside down. It has the best ink. It's shiny. It is really comfortable in your hand. How do we do that in real estate? How do a lot of investors do that in real estate? Okay, so let us know, what do we not want to do when it comes to selling the pen or selling an investment? What lesson are we learning here? We'll just give you a second to throw it in the comments. And there's a huge lesson. We talked about it briefly already, but what's the lesson here? What do we not want to do when we sell the pen, when we sell an opportunity? I want to see some comments, guys. Tori, don't show data. Danielle, no pressure.
It's good, yeah. And Tori, like what you said about don't show data, it's funny because we all think that that's what we need to do. And yes, there's a time and a place for it, and it will come later. You will have to back up what you're seeing with, actual data, but certainly not in the beginning. And yet that's what most of us go in with. So overpromise, underdeliver. Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Sarah, good point. Listen, don't talk. Yeah. You got to find out what the needs of that client are. You're not selling, you're not overwhelming, you're not exactly details and focus. You're not talking about ROI and numbers like cash flow. It's not about the pen. It's not about the property, guys. We got to learn about the person that we're going to be investing with. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So all these comments, all of them, totally right on. Okay, so what else can we learn from this?
You want me to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were asking another question.
Oh, no. Sorry.
All right. What else are we going to learn, guys? Let's go and find our next point.
There's only one rational thing you could do when someone says, sell me this pen, and that is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen? What type of pens have you used in the past? Is it business or personal? Typically, when you buy a pen, what type of money do you spend on one? Do you buy expensive pen? The key to selling is to find out, step one, what are your clients' needs, values? What pain are they looking to resolve? What do they need? And you're looking to fill that need.
Okay, guys. How do we go about doing that? How do we find out their need? How do we find out what our clients, our money partners, the people we're raising capital from, how do we find out what they need? How do we go about doing that? We talked about that during boot camp. For those of you that have been to our boot camps, how do we go about doing that? Tori, ask questions. Very, very simple.
Right.
This is not complicated rocket science, simple. Is it, guys? We ask them what they're looking for before we start selling something they might not want.
So what are some questions we can ask them? We can ask them how long they've been investing in real estate, how long they've been interested in investing in real estate, how long, like what brings them to real estate. So almost asking them their why without saying, hey, what's your why? But like, so what brings you to real estate? What are you hoping that real estate will accomplish for you? That's a really good one. You know, when did you, if you meet them at a certain like membership spot, you can say like, oh, when did you join, and that sort of thing. So these kinds of questions, they're just curiosity. They're just being normal and having conversations. They're not sales tactics, buzzwords, lingo. None of that is in there. You're just being curious and getting to know them, like Melanie said. So what type of investing have they done? Good one, Marie. You know, all these open-ended questions, right, Chris? All they do is spur on conversation. Yep. And right now, your only position in this and your only goal is to create conversation. You may or may not get them as an investor. That's okay. You've expanded your network. You've practiced some lingo in talking and having these conversations with people. You've heard what kind of questions come back or what kind of answers you get, because amazingly, they're quite typical once you get going. So that's your only goal, is to start these conversations. So think about some of those questions and maybe write down one or two that you want to use the next time you're, you know, with other investors, because that's really the key to selling someone, is by starting those conversations. So get good at it, but it's okay if you have to systemize it a little bit at first.
And Joanne, 100%, don't forget to listen. That is so important, guys, because, you know, when we go there at Tanis, 2 ears and one mouth for a reason.
We actually have that in one of our presentations.
Exactly. Yeah. We need to listen, guys, to what they have to say before we just blabber on as what we're there for. And that's the difference between success and having no success. It's very simple. Listen to what somebody needs. If you can fill the need, great. But there's something beyond that. There's, you know, because not everybody, we might not be able to fill what somebody is looking for. And what do we do then? Well, let's watch this video and find out what we do at that point. Okay, guys? Here we go.
Most basic level, right? Well, when you just go out and try to sell something to someone, what you're saying is, I don't give a shit about you. I'm trying to ram this down your throat, right? I want to know what you need. I want to know what you've done in the past. So you ask questions. If I ask someone, hey, so how long have you been in the market for a pen? They say, oh, I'm not looking for a pen. Great, have a nice day. I don't sell people things that people aren't looking for. I wouldn't try to sell you a pen if you're not looking to buy a pen. So that's, and if someone said it to me, I say, wow, this person really knows how to sell.
Okay, guys. Is everybody going to invest with us? What do we do if somebody isn't showing interest? What do we do if we've planted seeds, we've dropped hooks, and this person doesn't bite? That seed doesn't sprout. Do we keep going on that same person? Do we try to convince them? What do we do if that seed is not sprouting or that hook is not getting bit? Okay, we talked about this in our boot camp as well, guys. Yeah, that's right.
Change the subject and talk.
That's right, Karen.
Baby.
Change the subject. Talk about something totally different. We don't push. Guys, there's no point in us trying to convince somebody to invest in real estate if they have no interest in investing in real estate.
You know, we took a course years ago in our previous business, and it was a sales course. And why? It's exactly what you just said. Thank them, wish them well, and move on. It was called Thank the No's. So we were actually telemarketing at the time. We had a room full of telemarketers. And a lot of times, you know, telemarketers would come to us, because I didn't have any formal training in getting people going on these phones, but they would come to us as having been trained as telemarketers, true ones. And they had to rebut 3 times before they were allowed to hang up the phone. So they're not interested. Okay, well, you know, perhaps you haven't thought of this or whatever. So 3 times before they were allowed to hang up the phone. I was like, heck no. Like, we're not those people. Like, if they want us, they'll have us. If they don't, they won't. So it was called, and then we had these sales consultants come in and talk to us. And one of their things was thank the no's. So just be so thankful. Be like, you know what, thank you for your time. You know, I know you're probably busy, so I'll let you go, but really appreciate your time today. That's going to leave a better, you know, thought in their mind. The next time they saw the phone ring, our company was called Healthy Home, and it would come up, Healthy Home. Next time they saw that number, they might be willing to answer it rather than be like, heck no, I'm not answering that. So don't try to sell something to someone that they don't want. Now, for one, it's not very nice. It's irritating for them. They're not going to like it. But let's talk selfishness for a second here. It's also easier for us.
It wears on us, right?
It's hard.
Yeah. If we're sitting there trying to convince and oh, well, no, haven't you seen what real estate is doing? And what if you could have this much in your bank account every single month passively? And oh, well, no, the market is doing this, the market is doing that. It's not exactly what the headlines say. If guys, if we're going on and on trying to convince people to invest with us or convince people to invest in the market, we're wasting our time. And the beauty of knowing this ahead of time, guys, is that instead of us wasting our time and energy on those that aren't going to progress, and they might on their own down the road, you never know when a seed can sprout.
Kevin just said that, and they might come back around to
exactly
plant the seed,
that might happen.
Yeah.
But for the time being, let's spend our energy on people that are showing a little bit of interest, on those seeds that are starting to sprout a little bit. Let's start watering those instead of trying to plant a whole bunch more.
Yeah,
not
sure.
No, we still want to plant. We still want to plant instead of
putting time and effort into seeds that have already dried up.
A ton of fertilizer on something that's not popping up.
So I said this to some kids one time, and I used the analogy of a bag of snot. I was like, if someone was selling you a bag of snot, and you didn't want it, anything they said, could it convince you to buy this bag of snot? Probably not. If you don't want it, you don't want it, right? And it's the same with real estate. Just because we love it does not mean that everyone's going to love it. And it does not mean that they're going to buy it no matter what we say. So save your energy, save your emotions. Karen said it. You believe in the benefits, but you also know that it's not for everyone, and it's not your job to convince them otherwise. So that's one point from this last little clip that we watched. But what's another point? What did he say that if we just go in there as me monsters and go in there just wanting what we want, and just after, I want to sell you this pen, I want to sell you this pen, I want to sell you this bag of snot that you don't want. If that's the case, it's so gross, I know.
Snot sounds worse when Tiffany
I think it's
says
gross. I think it's because it grosses me out, Kevin. So
Tiffany's ready to
it's like
gag.
one of the worst things that you can say to me. But what does it say?
That's funny.
What does it say to people when you just go in there with your pen and your real estate deal? And what does it say to them? That sounds good, but it's not. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sorry. Bag of snot, Tori. Sorry. So to preface it, just in case you guys didn't hear, I did like a financing thing, little webinar or seminar thing for kids. Mm-hmm. And so this principle, when we matched it out for kids, it was Mm-hmm. But anyways, all right, let me
we're gonna be banned from YouTube and Facebook for your language, Tiffany.
And I'm gonna have to digress and just answer my own question, because I think I created a totally different thing here. But when we go in and we've got us in mind and our product in mind, and we just push that and push that and push that, what we're doing is, like he said, and I'll say it a little nicer than he said it, is we're basically saying, I don't care about you. I just want what I want. I'm just looking out for number one. So if someone comes to you just looking out for number one, is that going to attract you to them, or is that going to push you away? And it's the same thing with our joint venture partners, our private lenders, anyone in real estate, anyone in any kind of sales. If we go to them pushing for ourselves and thinking about ourselves only, we're not going to attract anyone.
Yeah.
And we're really trying to attract money here, right? And we have to attract it. We can't grab it.
Yeah.
So it has to come to us.
Okay, guys, let's continue on and see what else we can learn from this. Let's keep it going.
Because the biggest mistake that rookie sales are making, they're trying to sell to everybody, versus weeding out people who are not interested and only selling to those who are. So I ask questions, but not any question. I ask.
Okay, guys, when it comes to our one-line moneymaker, what was one of the points that we talked about? Do we use a one-line moneymaker that covers every single person? I help people that want to have cash flow. Is that going to work? Do you remember what we talked about when it came to your one-line moneymaker? Do we make our message appeal to everybody? We're trying to get all the masses in? Or what did we talk about?
There you go, Marie.
Marie, exactly.
Yeah, tennis.
We want to target our market. We want to nail it down. We want to niche to the people that we want. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of people, and he said, he put it, what did he say? That's an amateur or something?
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, rookie mistake. But, you know, it's something that's really hard to get out of our minds because quite frankly, you know, even right now, like in Fearless, we've got kind of a wide spectrum of investors from new to very experienced. And, you know, we could be trying to just service them all. It's really hard not to, but you have to choose who you want to help and who you want to talk to. And it's a very different conversation for the newbies than it is for the most experienced. So if you don't niche down, just like you said, if you don't niche down, and Rose, then you're going to end up spreading all these seeds on cement, on rocky soil, on, I mean, we know this illustration well, some of us, but you're going to end up planting all these seeds all over the place in unaccepting territory. And that's not what you want. You want to go and find that soil that's rich and dark and has peat moss in it and, you know, is nice and moist and has nutrients, and you want to plant in there because that's where those seeds are most likely to root and grow. So don't waste your time and energy. It is a definite rookie mistake.
Okay, guys, let's keep going and see what else we can learn.
Pointing questions to identify what type of pens you used in the past, how much money you have. Now, the pen is like a euphemism for any product, right? By doing that, I can get a good sense of what you're about. And then when I'm done asking my questions, and I know what I need to know, I'll say, well, based on what you said to me, this pen is perfect if you let me tell you why. And now I'm actually matching my pen to what you need, and I tailor my presentation to fill that need, and it's much more elegant. Make sense? Yes. Okay.
All right, guys. So at the end of the day, once we find out the needs of the person that we're talking to, once we maybe ask them what are their goals in doing this, why do they want to invest in real estate, what's the purpose of them investing with us versus investing in the stock market, when we find out some of their motivations, we find out their values, we find out their needs, we find out what they're looking for, maybe what their why is, what do we do at that point? We simply fill the need. And did you notice he says we tailor our presentation based on what their need is? So the needs of all of our joint venture partners, when we look at our joint venture partners, they all had different needs.
They really
did. They were all
did.
looking for something different. That didn't mean that we bought different properties. We bought very similar properties throughout our buying period. But we to their needs and we gave them what they want. We tailored the percentages and whether they got cash flow or no cash flow, whether they got 50% or 60%. We tailored all of the setup to what their needs were. And when we can do that, it's like selling a pen to somebody, and it's like saying, okay, well, based on what you told me, this is exactly what you're looking for. So,
and notice that that's what he said. He said, what I then turn around and say to them is, based on what you said, here's where I think that this is a great option for you. So he's not telling them stuff that they don't want to hear. He's saying, you mentioned that your hand gets sore when you're writing. Well, you know what? This pen, it's one of those easy roll ones. You said that you hate buying expensive pens because they, you know, you can never find refills. Well, guess what? This one comes with a whole box of them, or whatever it might be. So if we listen, we can then address concerns and say what those concerns are, like get them out of the way right away. And then again, we generally know at that point whether they're in or they're out. Either they're on or they're off. You don't have to convince someone of something that they don't want to do. Sometimes they need to ask more questions and they've got some fear surrounding it, and we have to be supportive of that. And that's okay. That's different, you know, than just being like, oh, they didn't bite, so forget them. No, we still need to nurture and take care of those that we've connected with. I love some of the comments here. Karen, like, you're pre-qualifying them with these leading questions. Exactly. So you're interviewing them, you're pre-qualifying them, you're seeing what it is that they need. Maybe you can't provide it. I had people that came to us and wanted to do like quick flips. I didn't have the skills or the know-how, like not swinging hammer-wise, but numbers-wise, and figuring out how to properly, you know, do a good job of making money on a flip. So I would say to them right off, if I knew that that's what they were looking for, I'm not your person. I can refer you to someone who's doing that I know in my market, but I'm not your person. And I just immediately was able to stop the conversation, the emotion was over. I no longer had to try hard. It was just done deal, moving on now.
Yeah. And Sarah, 100%. When we fill their needs, we can fill ours too.
Yeah.
And really that's the point of all of this, guys, is that we're going to waste so much time. We're going to waste effort. We're going to waste energy by trying to sell to everybody, by trying to sell something without finding before what they need ahead of time. And it's just, it's a waste of our time and it's a waste of theirs. So let's simplify things.
Rude.
Let's make it really, really simple on them, people that we talk to, and on us, so that we can have the energy to keep doing this business, because there's a lot of other parts of this business that can drain our energy. But let's conserve our energy when it comes to trying to convince people to invest with us by, number one, talking to people that have an interest. Number two, find out what they need. Number three, fill that need and show them how your product can fill that need for them. And if we follow that simple process, guys, it's going to make this whole business so much easier.
So next time you hear that analogy of sell me this pen, I didn't realize that I thought it was like a Zig Ziglar thing or whatever, because at seminars and stuff, they do that. But if, I never realized it, but every time you hear this, sell me this pen, I want you to just thinking about the other person, and in your immediate response, where your brain goes is to ask questions. What questions? Doesn't really matter. And you might ask a couple questions that are a little bit irrelevant just because of nerves and you don't know what to say. And that's okay. Let them answer, listen, fills the time. And maybe by then you will have come up with something that, works better. But practice does make perfect. So in this case, and practice does make partners, because the more you do these conversations, the better you'll get at them. And the same questions can be asked over and over. So of those questions we discussed at the beginning here, write down one or two that you want to use. We're going to be doing our road trip here probably in the next 6 weeks or so. We'll see, depending on all the restrictions. But we're going to be doing a fearless meetup and an ignited dinner in every single stop that we make. So, or center, I guess I should say, not stop that we make. But yeah, there's going to be networking opportunities there. Hopefully we'll be outside in every market, we hope. But what are you going to say? How are you going to start those conversations? How are you going to find out whether or not you vibe with someone, or whether or not they're just not your people? Because you're going to have to talk to them in order to do that.
Awesome. That's our topic this week, guys. I hope you got some benefit from that. And Tiff kind of spilled the beans. Yes, come late August, early September, we're going to be leaving Western Canada and heading out east to meet all our peeps across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. We're going to be stopping at many stops along the way. We will be announcing meetups for Fearless members along the way. We expect to see many of you and would love to meet many of you.
Yes.
And for those of you that are Ignited members, we're going to be organizing dinner so we can get together and network and that sort of thing.
So for our Igniteds, this afternoon we went through, Corey mapped out every single one of you where you guys live. Angie's saying, come to Saskatoon. Yeah, we talked about in Saskatchewan, and we've got some members and we're trying to figure out a spot, but I think Saskatoon's going to be it. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing these things. Ontario, yes. BC,
yes, Adele will be in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal. We can't miss you, Adele. We have to come to Montreal. So anyways, there's going to be lots of opportunities to meet other people, not just with us, but all over the place.
Tori, sounds like you're saying screw BC. So, no, Tori, we were in BC and we kind of did that portion of our trip already
in the fall.
We started in the fall last year.
And then restrictions
with
came.
That said, we are going back to BC as well. We have to shoot some more YouTube videos, and that's where we do it, is in BC. And we want to meet our new Ignited members that are out in BC. Speaking of Ignited, guys,
yes,
for those of you that were a part of, and yes, the Okanagan, for those of you that were a part of our boot camp, you know that tonight is when the discount to join our Ignited program ends. Guys, there's a $1,200 discount off of the cost of becoming an Ignited member. We're going to put it in the chat, the link to be able to join Ignited. It's $1,200 off our annual payment, or $100 a month off our monthly payment, and that ends tonight. So you have two options. One, if you want to join Ignited at a discounted price, this is the cheapest it will ever be again.
Price
Join
goes up.
now and join tonight. Or the other option is book a call with one of our team members. And to do that, you need to email us at success@investorlife.com. So if you send an email saying, I'd love to set up a call, email us at success@investorlife.com. Or you can join tonight because the coupon will end at midnight tonight. So those are the two options to get the discount, guys. And become an Ignited member, become a part of the group that is taking Canadian real estate by storm.
By storm.
So somebody,
sure.
a Facebook user, Carissa here, just put in the link, guys. It's fearlessinvestors.ca/join-ignited-now. And if you just click that link, you go straight, maybe Carissa or Nin or Rio, you could put that link in by itself, just so it's easy to click on. Instead of it being a part of a whole comment. And the coupon codes are there. The coupon code is 1200 off. That's if you're doing the annual payment, or 100 off if you choose the monthly payment. Yeah, there you go, guys. Join our family, Mel says. Ignited is awesome, says Joanne. Sarah, it will change your life. Ryan, you are ignited, man. You are ignited.
Except for, I don't know if we want to admit that with you, Ryan. That circus of monkeys or whatever comment that you put in, I was like, wow, okay. But no, and then I was like, okay, it's Ryan. Anyways, yeah, like Ignited is the pen you're looking for. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you know what, guys? We're not paying any of our Ignited members here to be saying what they're saying, but obviously they find value in this product, in this membership, in this cool club of investors that we have here in Canada. And if you join Ignited, guys, you're going to be a part of our dinners as we come across the country, and you're going to be networking with the best investors across the country as well.
For real, for real.
There we go.
So it's tonight at midnight, right? Is the last, and that's Eastern.
Two options. One,
Mountain Time.
Join tonight, use those coupon codes, or two, email us success@investorlife.com. If you have questions, you don't quite understand, you're not sure if you're ready for it or not, you want an opinion, our team is going to answer those questions for you. You're going to end up having a call with Ray and Joe, and many of you know who they are, and they're going to answer those questions honestly. They're giving you the perspective of an Ignited member and the experience that they've had to this point. So there we go. Come and join the Ignited OGs. That's right. I would assume that. Oh, look at that. That's Michael.
I see Mike and Julie are on. So guys, I don't know if you just heard, but we are planning our trip coming out probably late August, early September to hit our trip cross country. So we'll have to do some golfing or something again in Ottawa. Yeah, you guys are so awesome. Thanks for all the love, guys. And for everyone that took boot camp, thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was a really great weekend. And if you guys are Ignited and you want to jump around with us, like, come on out. I know Melanie is planning to run out there and kind of jump on board with
once
us a
we
little
actually organize our trip, here's the deal, guys, is our anniversary, our 25th anniversary, is actually on September 6th this year. And so we want to make sure that we're somewhere super cool in Canada, and we haven't picked the location yet. Well, but we want to make sure that we're somewhere super cool on September 6th and for a few days before or after. So we're kind of building our trip around our anniversary, and then we're also building our trip around our Ignited dinners and, of course, our Fearless meetups.
We'll do a Fearless meetup in every major station
Absolutely.
or center.
And then we want to do a little touring and see different parts of the country that we've never seen before as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to meeting a lot of you. And there we go. So
car camping, Sean. Let's do it.
Okay. Awesome, guys. That's it for this week. We will see our Ignited members and all of our new Ignited members.
Welcome,
we're going to see you over in our laser session here in about 9 minutes.
And
so we look forward to seeing you guys there.
Ignited, the new Igniteds, if you're having any issues getting on, just message Ninden, and she can give you a hand getting in and finding us. But everything is in your dashboard, so it's nice and simple. Should walk you through. A lot of you have already gone through it. We've seen. But if you're having any issues, just message her, and then she'll make sure you get in on the laser tonight. So, all right, groupies, let's do it, guys.
All right,
fun.
take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Okay, cheers, everyone.